Thank you. I'm pleased to be here for the first time in playing in near Hampton. And my name is Hiroya. And what I do is a mixture of original music mostly and some stories behind them. And I hope you're gonna have a good time. First piece was one of my original pieces entitled As If It Were Yesterday, which is also a first track of my latest album, which I brought today. And I travel a lot to perform shows in different places, so I spend a lot of time on the road. So I compose many songs in different locations, including this next piece I'm going to share with you. I wrote this piece in a mountain in Utah several years ago. And after playing shows in Utah, me and my wife decided to take a couple of days off to explore Utah. And we ended up renting a Jeep, but I was scared to drive a Jeep. So I asked my wife to drive the Jeep. So she drove the Jeep about a couple of hours through those very steep canyons. And after driving through those canyons, we got to this beautiful natural stone bridge with huge red rocks. And I had my guitar on the Jeep, so I picked it up, started playing the guitar by the natural bridge. And after a while, this music came about. So I named this piece as the name of the place. And this is called Gemini Bridge. Thank you. That was called Gemini Bridge, and I'm originally from Japan, but I left Japan when I was early 20s, and I'm 40, so half my life in Japan, half here in the United States. But English is still a challenge, especially when it comes to naming the songs in English. So what I sometimes do is when I write a new song, I play a new song which doesn't have a title yet at a show like this, and asking American audience to get some ideas for new songs. And that's what I did for this next piece I'm going to play for you. Right after I wrote this piece, I had a show in Rochester. And after the show, a guy approached me and he said to me, I've got an idea for your new song. And he was a mid-70s guy, and he was telling me some stories about his life. And he said, I'm mid-70s now. So sometimes I think of how many years I have rest of my life. And when I wake up every morning, I just appreciate every day more than before when I was young. So for your song title, how about Another Great Day to Be Alive? And I thought that that's a beautiful title. But he also said that if you don't name it, I'm not going to buy a CD. So I named this piece as he suggested. Thanks so much. Okay, so since I grew up in Japan, I'd like to sing one Japanese very old folk song for you because I assume that you don't have much chance to hear Japanese folk music, right? And this might be a good chance. And this song is from southern part of Japan, Okinawa. You know Okinawa, which was a part of the U.S. territories from 1960s, about 10 years. But prior to that, before Japan, Okinawa was an independent kingdom for a long time, 500 years. And the location is very much isolated. So these people living there back then developed their own very unique culture, including beautiful traditional folk music and dance. And this is one of the folk songs from Kingdom era, which talks about a woman who lived back then. And she was a beautiful lady, so she got an offer from the king to get married. And the king was a very strong figure around that time. So basically, whatever king said, people were supposed to say yes. But this woman didn't want to get married to him, so she rejected the proposal from the king, but she survived. And she became a heroine, and this song came about. And I'm going to be singing this song in Okinawan, very old dialect language, which I don't even understand much, but you're welcome to sing along if you want to. And traditionally speaking, when they play this kind of music in Okinawa, they don't use a guitar. What they use is another string instrument called a sanshin. San means three in Japanese, and shi means lines, or could be strings. So it is a three-string small instrument, and the fingerboard of the instrument doesn't have any frets, those metal lines. So it almost looks like a cello neck, black ebony neck. And I'm going to mimic the sound of this sanshin with a guitar. 佐渡屋の小屋によさゆいアンチュラサリバシよたはりのちんだらかのおしゃまよさあ目指ししゅぬまなんばよさゆいたろやねすむたよはりのちんだらかのしゃまよは どやの小山にはいはいよアンチュラサリバシよたはりのちんだらかのシャマよさどやの小山にはいはいよアンチュラサリバシよたはりのちんだらかのシャマよThank you. Okay. I hope you didn't understand the language. Actually, last year I played at the Japanese festival in Atlanta, and after my set, a group of women from Okinawa approached me, and they said to me, "You have a wrong accent." But I think today is fine. There's no Japanese people in the audience. Okay. I'm going to play one more piece and I take a short animation. And as I mentioned, I brought on my latest album on the table back there. It'd be great if you could check it out if you like my music so far. Okay. So I grew up in Kyoto, Japan, and Kyoto is the name of the city, which was the old capital city in Japan for a long time. But Kyoto is also a name of the state's prefecture. It's like a New York City and New York State. And my hometown is a small town north of Kyoto City, surrounded by beautiful mountains. And I grew up in a valley. And I usually tour central part of the U.S. states, such as Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Oklahoma, those states once or twice a year. And the scenery of those states is the most different scenery from I'm coming from originally. So I wanted to compose a music about this area. And anybody driven through those places? Yes? It's very flat, right? And as we drive the local road there in those states, the small towns appears. And those small towns are, in general, very small, only one stoplight or something like that. And I can pass those towns in a few minutes. And after that, another corn and soybean fields continues lots of miles. And then after that, another similar town appears. That kind of a repetition driving through those places. And when I pass those small towns, sometimes I feel a little depressing and sad, because even the main street, lots of the stores are closed and there's no business going on. But at the same time, I like playing shows in those small towns, and once I get into the communities, I met some wonderful people in those areas. So this song has two different parts in the middle, and this song is a suite which consists of 3 different movements. And this song begins with a very slow part, and it goes up to the faster part in the middle. And there's another slow part at the end. And this is entitled, What Dreams May Come. Thanks so much. Okay, how do you like the show so far? Thank you. Okay, I'd like to share one of my recent songs that I wrote a couple months ago. I wrote this piece in Michigan, and one Saturday afternoon, it was very gloomy and cold day, and I spent that couple hours in the afternoon in Michigan, and I composed this piece. Next day, I had a show in Lansing, Michigan, at the Intimate Theater called the Robin Theater. And the venue organizer, director, his name is Dylan, heard this song. And after he heard this song, he came to me and he said, I have an idea for your new song title. And he said to me, do you know the word in English called a petrichor, which I didn't know. And he said, petrichor means the smell of coming from the ground after the rain. So how about that? So I named this piece as petrichor. Thank you. I wrote this piece a couple of years ago by the Coastal Maine, and it was originally an instrumental piece. But later last year in November, I was playing shows in upstate New York, and I was driving through Adirondacks Mountains. It was beautiful driving through forest. And while I was driving, this simple melody and a simple English poem came together. So I put those to my instrumental piece. So now this song has additional melody line and lyrics. Thank you. Okay, so some people ask me during the intermission, I hear lots of sound, what's going on? So I want to explain what I'm doing here. So I'm using, what I do is described as looping or layering. So basically what I do is I have a pedal called a loop pedal, and this pedal is connected to my vocal mic and the guitar, so that I can create multiple layers in the real time in the live. So that's what I'm doing. So it's not pre-recorded, or it's not a karaoke track. It's a real-time thing. And I enjoy doing that, but on the other hand, I still like to play some songs, just a pure acoustic guitar and back to the basics. So I'm gonna do 2 songs without using any looping. Okay. I've been playing the guitar for a long time, but it was not my first instrument. When I was in junior high school, I was 13 years old. My dad found a used banjo at a thrift shop in my hometown in Kyoto. And he brought it back one day and he said to me, "This is called banjo." And I didn't know anything about banjo as a Japanese teenager. But I like the fact that I was the only kid in town playing banjo. And my parents had a friend who was very much into bluegrass music. And he was also an excellent bluegrass flat-picking guitar player too. And he came over one day when I was in high school, and he gave me a record, LP named The Foggy Mountain Banjo by Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs. It's a great classic record, released in 1961, I think. And all the songs are instrumentals with the 5 guys, acoustic guitar, 5-string banjo, fiddle, dobro, and acoustic bass. Those 5-piece ensemble. And then when I dropped down the needle for the first time, I still remember that moment. And it was just fascinating to me. And that was a motivation for me to practice banjo. And the bluegrass banjo requires lots of picking hand technique. I'm righty, so my right hand with the 3 fingers, thumb, index, and middle fingers. Basically different combinations of those 3 fingers. And the bluegrass people call it rolls. So when I was in high school, I practiced lots of different rolls with my right hand. And I'm going to play one of my original pieces. And for this piece, I applied some of the banjo rolls to this original piece. And this is entitled From Coast to Coast. Thank you. All right, I think I'm going to play 2 more songs for this show. I composed this piece in a small village back in Kyoto, in northern part of Kyoto Prefecture, where my grandparents are from originally. And both of my grandparents, grandmother and grandfather, grew up in this tiny village in the beautiful mountain. And when I was a kid, I used to go there, and looking back from now, it's a long time ago and far away, but I still have a great memory thinking about this village. And you may have a similar place, the place you had been when you were growing up. And even though you haven't been back, the memory is interesting. It sometimes comes back suddenly. And when I sleep, I often dream about things about my past, especially my childhood memories come back. And several years ago, I had a chance coming back to this village with my dad, and I brought my guitar there, and I wrote this piece with the guitar in this village. And when I went back last time with my dad, the house was still there, and the mountains looked exactly the same as my childhood, and the river still runs throughout the village. But a few simple questions came to me when I went back last time, such as why my grandparents are gone, and because all the things looked exactly the same. And I understand that all the living things die eventually, but why I have to live in this life? And those questions came to me, and I stayed there for a couple of days. And while I was staying there, I was thinking about the time I spent with my grandparents, and I composed this piece in this village. And the name of the piece is entitled Takibi, T-A-K-I-B-I. Takibi is a Japanese word which means bonfire, because making bonfire was what they did traditionally in those rural villages back then. Thank you very much for being here, coming out tonight. I'm going to play one more piece for you. And besides CDs, it's entitled Little River Canyon. It's all original music. I also have a mailing list. If you sign up your emails, I'm going to send you monthly newsletters from different places I go. So you're going to know when I'm coming back to Long Island, this area again in the future. I have a little story about this piece I'm going to play. About 15 minutes north from New Haven, Connecticut, there's a small town called Hampton, and there are two mountains. One has a round shape, and next to the round mountain, there's a longer one, and these two mountains are connected, and the people call it Sleeping Giant. And next to Sleeping Giant, there's a university named the Quinnipiac University. And one of the professors there, whose name is Luis. Luis is originally from Argentina, but he's been here in the US for a long time, teaching at the Quinnipiac University. And we became friends. And a couple of years ago, I was playing shows in Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Northeast. And Luis knew that I was up in the area, so he called me up and he said, if you have time on your way back, why don't you stop by? So I decided to stop by Hampton, and me and Luis did a trail walking through a Sleeping Giant. And it was a very cold day in the winter time, but it was a beautiful experience for me to walk through a Sleeping Giant. And a few weeks later, after I got home, I received a package from Luis. And when I opened the box, there were 4 books about Sleeping Giant. And he enclosed a letter, and he wrote that I am personally very much attached to this place, Sleeping Giant. And this place is also an important place for Quinnipiac University too. So I want to ask you a favor. I want you to compose a music about this mountain. But before you compose, you have to study about this place. And the books were very thick. But I try my best to read those books he sent, try to find out what this place was about. And after reading those books, I composed this piece, and I learned that this place was originally a sacred place of indigenous people living there back then, and their name is Quinnipiac people. And the spirit of Quinnipiac people is called the Hobomok, so I named this piece as Hobomok. Thanks so much. Can I do one more? Yes? Thank you very much. Thanks so much.